Why do I like this so much? I don't think I should like this, but I do like this. Is there something wrong with me? Hello everybody! Infinite Shinjo here, and welcome to today's animated discussion. It's been a while since I've recorded one, at least. It probably is not going to be that big of a gap in between the last episode and this episode, but for those of you who aren't aware, and I did kind of change up the rules in between the last two episodes that I did record, but basically my initial plan for this series was to just discuss anime in a broader sense. Like, for example, today's video is about Keijo, and I'm going to be discussing it and really stretching out what the show is about. And it's a lot easier to discuss rather than in Let's Talk Anime, where I don't want to go too in-depth on it because the video might be too long. But since I feel like another series that's entirely devoted to anime would get kind of boring, instead I made it so this is going to be incorporating anime and Western cartoons like, I don't know, Invader Zim, Steven Universe. I'm sure a couple of you guys have been looking for Steven Universe content. But basically, this is an anime and cartoon sort of series. No set schedule for it, just whenever I want to record a video, whenever I have an idea, this is what I do. And today's video, I'm going to be discussing, like I said earlier, Keijo. And I don't even know where to begin. I suppose the logical start is to be discussing what the show is about. To start, Keijo is a sports anime, and the plot of it is, well, let me discuss the game first. The teams are surrounded by water. There's a platform in the middle that's called a land. And basically, it's an all-girls sport, funny enough, and the way that you win is knock the other competitor in the water by using your boobs or your butt. No joke, that is how the game is played. And like every other sports action anime, our protagonist is Nozomi Kaminashi, who is the plucky anime character that is going to do the best at the sport that she's in and become the best. Kind of bland, normal anime description of a character that you've ever heard, but they do make it interesting, at least in my opinion. From what I remember, in like one of the first episodes, Nozomi says that she wants to become the #1 Keijo player because she gets money. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be a case of Uraraka, that she wants the money to take care of her family, or what, but regardless, it's kind of funny that Nozomi is doing this mainly for money, whereas other anime characters like Deku, or I'm trying to think of one that I know for sure, Goku, they're basically doing it to get stronger. Deku wants to inherit All For One perfectly and become this #1 hero, and Goku just wants to fight strong dudes. So I find it kind of funny that Nozomi's just in it for the money. And I hear you clacking on your keyboard right now saying, you can't compare Nozomi to characters like Deku and Goku. It's entirely different. And well, it really isn't. Both shows have a lot of action, and both shows have tournaments. When you get right down to it, basically, these action shows like Academia and Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, you basically make it female cast and you get Keijo. Obviously, you have to incorporate the whole butts and boobs thing in, which, let me discuss that. That is honestly the first thing that kind of threw me off about the show when I first learned about it. I remember, I probably won't be able to find the clip right now, but I was scrolling on Facebook. It's probably been years now, but I saw a clip of two girls walking on a platform in the middle of my water, and they were hitting each other with butts. And I was thinking, okay, this is kind of weird. Then a few years later, I was hanging out at a friend's house, and he said, "Oh, Keijo's this show, explains the show," and I'm thinking, wait, that's the show that I saw the clip from earlier. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'll watch this, it sounds interesting. And I gotta be honest, the boobs and butt thing at first is kinda weird. Especially when you get right down to it. This show is 50% plot progression, tournaments, real good action sequences, and 50% is basically fan service. They do still increase the action and make the animation a whole lot better when Nozomi is firing off her butt attacks, much like Goku firing off a Kamehameha. They kind of do it in the same vein, and I find that kind of hilarious. But I would say if you can get past the part that the show is basically about boobs and butts, it's kind of funny. Plus, I never realized how many jokes and puns they can make off of it. I'm not going to explain the joke in full here because this is YouTube, but in one of the early episodes, they're saying about all their different classes, and one of them is astrology. Astrology. Just throw another S in there somewhere and let me know when you find the joke. Although I'm not sure if all of these jokes are from the original Japanese version. I'm watching the dub of it because dub. But I'm not sure if this is just the dub cast that are throwing in all these butt puns or the Japanese version has them as well. I feel like both would probably be similar because outside of ones like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, a lot of other anime are pretty faithful from dub to sub. Now, with all of this stuff that I mentioned, there is one little drawback. I haven't finished it yet. I did want to record this video when I finished the entire thing, but I have like 3 or 4 episodes left to go from the season, and this is the only time that I was able to record, either today or tomorrow. And I just wanted to get this recorded and get my thoughts out while there's nobody at home. Although honestly, since there's only 3 or 4 episodes left, there's probably not much that's going to be different from what I already expect. Because where I basically am at right now is the East-West War is about to start. And the opening of it basically already foreshadows Nozomi and Miyata facing off, which I'm not sure how that can happen unless that's something entirely different. Because if it's East versus West, I don't see how they will face each other, but I don't know, that might be just something to introduce the female lead and the second female lead. Who knows? One other thing I feel like I need to mention is the chemistry between all the characters. They just work so perfectly, especially between the 4 main girls. Nozomi's just the determined, standout main anime character that you see everywhere. Miyata is the calm, reserved one who's actually probably the best one out of the entire group, or one of the best ones. Toyoguchi is the clumsy, airhead sort of character, and I do love how Sarah Windercraft voices her in the dub. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. If you've seen Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Black Clover, you've heard her voice at least once. And also Zeno in Dragon Ball Super, which is kinda weird.
You're not like most people, you're fun. I want you to be my friend, Okie dokie. Okay, I'm gonna follow in Miyata's footsteps and win!
And then we have Alba. Alba is probably my favorite character from the show. Just because she's shy. Honestly, that's probably a common thing that you've noticed in videos like mine. That I absolutely love the anime characters that are just shy and backwards and keep to themselves a lot of the time. Alba's character is just so cool, especially when she slips into that accent. I love it. Although honestly, from what I'm seeing so far, I'm a little bit upset that Alba basically gets the back burner in a lot of episodes. Because early on in the show, there was a couple of episodes where basically the new students had to face off against these veterans in the school, and if they win, they can advance up to elite. All 4 of the girls outside of Alba win, and they get upgraded. And they decide, oh, these girls are basically 2 pairs. They have to all stick together, so we're just gonna have Alba move up with you. Basically rendering the whole thing pointless. Because then the question comes up, what would happen if two of the girls wouldn't have made it? What if Alba and Toyoguchi both would have lost? Would they still get upgraded? Because if that was the plan all along, it really defeats the purpose of them even competing. And although they probably would never admit it, the main reason that all four girls get upgraded is because main character girl, Nozomi, wins, so obviously everybody else has to go with her, right? One final thing that I'll mention is I like every single song in the show. I love the opening song, I love the ending song. I probably like the ending song a little bit more than the opening, but honestly I really like both songs. And I can't think if there's much background music that's really stand out so far. If there is, that's my mistake, I can't think of any. But at the end of the day, I would say that I guess at this point I'm giving my review of Keijo. And I would say if you can get past the fact that this show is basically fan service with them focusing on the boobs and the butts, the show is really not that bad. I wouldn't really compare it to the likes of Academia or Dragon Ball Z, but it's really up there, especially since the animation is a little bit unique from a lot of other stuff that I've seen. And the cast is just so unique. Even the background characters do have some personality to them. But that is going to be the end of today's episode of Animated Discussions. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to butt flash that like button. Why did I say that? Do not forget to hit that like button down below and subscribe so you don't miss any other episodes. If there's any other anime that's not too terribly long that you want me to review on here, I'll be more than happy to. Let me know if you've seen Keijo, if you haven't seen Keijo, or you're gonna watch it now that I've recommended it. Just let me know any of your thoughts on today's video. And finally, if you have any other recommendations for anything else I can discuss in this series, leave them down in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video. Momentai!